ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on today's episode in the news, the Squid Games is based on a true story. Is that clickbait? Yes, but we're going to get to that. You guys can figure out why. In trailer talk this week, we have the Black Adam trailer, our first look at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in his first ever superhero role. What an exciting time to be alive. The new to streaming list, Netflix and Disney Plus have some stuff that's it basically. What we're watching, of course, and then our main review for the episode, Jurassic World Dominion. But before we get to any of that, I'm joined today, of course, by Netronosaurus, Nathaniel Gingrich.
I'm back. I'm still Netronosaurusing around. I've got my spiky tail, and I've been munching on some leaves. It's been a good time.
Yeah, a lot of salad.
Yeah, week. I imagine I live in a sort of swampy area. I feel like many dinosaurs did, so that's been good for my skin. Yeah. I'm feeling very smooth and not as many wrinkles, so
Do you think you have feathers? Does your dinosaur have feathers?
No, I think I'm pre-feathers, but I got those big scales, and I think those have like blood vessels in them and things. So maybe those became. Well, I guess feathers don't have that either, but who knows?
Yeah.
I just got really cool spikes, so
You do have really cool spikes.
Deal with it.
Also joining me today. Thank you. It's none other than Tyrannosaurus Tyler Verdalis.
Give it up, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause for the king.
Yeah, hit that support. Yeah, thank you. He's back, baby.
With vengeance.
This is by far, I think, my favorite name for you. It's just too perfect.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the things, like as a kid too. Like what else are you gonna call me?
T-Rex.
So like, it's just sick. Yeah, and T-Rexes were they always were and they always will be dope. So
yeah, right. Yeah, got a good look at a T-Rex in this.
Have you seen Sue down at the Field Museum?
Yeah. So actually, when I was a kid, and Sue first came to the museum, my grandma was like, "We gotta go." Like Tyler and Justin love dinosaurs. Like we're going, and so she actually took us. I don't know if my parents were there, if it was just like her and Gordy solo, but who knows? But I'll have to find it because I know I still have it. But it's like a little souvenir spoon that has like the skull like on the spoon portion, and it just says Sue on top, and it's in like this little plastic case with like red velvet around it. I still have that. I just don't know where it is right now.
When one of my first family trips to Chicago was the year that Sue came, and I don't know where I read it or something, but I asked my family if we could go to the Field Museum while we came to Chicago to visit family, and we did, and it was true. I got to see Sue as well.
Yeah, it was dope. We probably it was probably like same day, like
probably.
We just like casually like passed each other and just didn't know it.
Or like, I have this really strong memory of this, this kid. I think his name was Ty. I don't know, but we polished, Sue's skeleton together. He dropped something on the platform, and I like reached up to help him, but that was weird.
This Tenacious D shirt on.
Yeah. That's the only thing I really. And there was this other kid, James or something, and he kind of sucked. Really bad at video games, but yeah.
I don't know who the fuck James is. But...
It's Justin.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor for Justin.
Yeah. Poor James. Routing out the squad this week. Of course, it's not James. No, instead it's big Brontosaurus BlakeHolder.
2 times, back to back, fellas.
Back to back, the 2-time. It's a Dr. Disrespect reference. Not much, man. It's been another busy week for me.
Yeah. How you liking in DC, bro?
It's great, dude. It's been a fantastic 2 weeks. We went to so it's every Friday is our field trip as like a class in a group and everything. So last Friday was Monticello. And it was the first time I'm going through Mizzou in their Kinder Institute, which is their foundation for constitutional democracy. But it was just founded in like 2015, and it was founded by a guy named Rich Kinder, who I came to find out is worth about $8 billion. That's billion with a B in case I'm coming in choppy.
What's he doing with
This is
it?
the first. Sorry?
What's he doing with his $8 billion?
Not paying for my tuition,
Yeah.
so that's really unfortunate. And so he founded the institution. You know, I could get all the whole spiel that they gave us about why all that stuff. But anyway, this is the first time that they have had him and a lot of the top donors and people who invest into the program and other like well-known people in DC. They all came out to join us at Monticello, and you know, kind of all interact and make connections and stuff like that. So there was not one but like two billionaires there on Friday.
Any interest in funding a small, little-known podcast by the name of the Sandpiper tapes? I mean, what? Sorry.
Oh wow, that took a turn. Yeah, no, I talked to Rich. He's not a big horror guy, unfortunately. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah,
Season 2, I'll take notes.
No, he's into big oil drills and pipelines.
Yeah, I could definitely write something about that.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, it was just, you know, not only was that like really cool, just meeting all those people and talking to a lot of cool people, but just like Monticello itself was awesome to go to, and the weather was just gorgeous. Like you could not have asked for a more perfect day. Like there was not a single thing wrong with the weather. Like it was every kind of nice day that you imagine. It was that weather. Like it was just a gorgeous day. You know, a long day because I was up at like 5:30. We had to leave. The buses left at like 7 because it's like a 2.5 hour drive, 2.5, 3 hour drive, and we didn't end up leaving our like dinner until like 9:30, and then we got back at like midnight because it's pretty rough traffic. So it was like long ass day, but like it was really special, really cool to kind of be out there and meet all those people. And
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been really good so far. And then this week we are going to Annapolis, Maryland, where a lot of stuff from the Revolutionary War happened. So that'll be fun.
And you're joining the Army.
You know what? Yeah, after seeing Top Gun Maverick, I am, you know, really inspired, and I got to do my part. You know. Would you like to know more?
Would you like to know more?
Anyway, that's enough about me. How are you guys doing?
Chilling, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Jurassic World, man, and I'm just living in it. You know.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah, we're all good, bro.
Did Ellie get eaten by like a pterodactyl or something?
She's currently asleep by my toe, and I'm scratching the back of her head, and occasionally it like hits her magic spot, and she goes crazy with her paws too, and it's really cute.
Funny.
So
Funny.
it's right around this time that usually she ruins it by peeing on something. So
I've been there enough with her around to know that is usually around this time.
I also pee in random places at this time of night.
Particularly when Carolia like
didn't
scratches
need
a
to know
certain
that.
part of the back of your neck too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or when he gets a dub in like Apex, it's one of those two.
True.
Yeah. I think the like receptors in the brain, it hits the same spot, whether like Leah is like scratching the sweet spot or whatever, and you know, getting dubs in Apex, it's like, you know, same.
Correct. Same endorphins.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's it. All right. Well, glad everyone's doing well. Listener, I hope you're doing well, and I hope you want to hear some news, because in the news this week we have 3 stories. The first one of which it's a pretty exciting one, actually. It's not one I was really expecting to get this week, but I'm pretty glad we got it. Joker sequel has a script, reveals director Todd Phillips. So this has been confirmed through, I think it's his Instagram. Yeah, his Instagram. He posted a picture of the screenplay.
Folie à deux.
Yeah, Folie à deux is the title of the film, which in the article, which is linked below to the Hollywood Reporter, they told me I didn't know this. It's a reference to a medical term for a mental disorder that affects 2 or more individuals, which I think is interesting, especially when I don't have this news story, but I did see that the movie is rumored to be a musical, and it is rumored to have Lady Gaga featured as Harley Quinn, which would make a lot of sense given that title. and I think would be really interesting to see a Joker and Harley Quinn musical, but I think it could be pulled off so well. What I'm interested to see though is how they have like that whimsicalness where they could pull off a live action musical like this with like the Joker and Harley Quinn character. But what I think is interesting is, can they do that with this Joker? Because that first one was so different than anything that we'd kind of seen from the character, as far as like the tone of that movie and everything, and really how dark it got. And so how do you flip that on its head almost and turn that character into something that's somewhat whimsical, like a musical?
Yeah. I buy the Joker. Like, we've seen the Joker Todd Phillips sequel thing and everything. We've like seen his photo of it on Twitter or whatever, and then obviously we have the Hollywood Reporter, I think you said, story on it as well. The musical Lady Gaga bit, which I've also seen kind of making the rounds on Twitter today, that feels like one of those things that like is destined to end up as like it was rumored, or like they're like testing ground with it yet. I don't know. I don't know about that one yet, but we'll see. Lady Gaga.
Sorry.
The best Harley Quinn, obviously. Yeah, maybe someone just saw that and they were like, Lady Gaga, Harley Quinn. This could be interesting. But yeah, I mean, it'd be kind of funny if it was. I think, like, in my head, you say those things, and I don't think that we see Joaquin Phoenix singing, but, like, maybe more of those, like, delusions that he was having of, like, the Zazie Beetz character in the first one, where, like, the Harley Quinn character is singing to him or something like that, maybe. But, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Zazie Beetz.
Always shout out.
Is it Zazie or Zazie?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I always say Zazie, but I could be wrong. I don't know. But also one of the reasons why I want to see Bullet Train.
Yeah, she's in that too.
I didn't even know.
Yeah. Well,
good. That makes me more excited.
I think I'd want to see it either way, but yeah, that was like, okay, I'm sold.
Yeah, right? What if I told you Florence Pugh's in it?
Yep.
Is it your favorite movie of all time?
Get the Blake-o-meter out.
Yeah, I was about to say,
if we got a Zazie Beetz Florence Pugh in both of them in the same movie, yeah, that may very well jump up to my top 6 movies all time.
Well, there you go, listeners. If you were playing Back Row Banter Bingo, you do have your Blake and Florence Pugh reference of the week. Go ahead and cross that off. And take a shot while you're at it. Why not? Unless you're driving. Take 2. Unadvisable. That was a joke. We haven't really discussed this Joker movie on pod that much, if at all, really, right?
No, that may be one we have to get on pod, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would be very down to get on there. But are you guys fans of the movie? I know it was overall really well received, but I know some people liked it more than others.
Yeah, I liked it. Very dark adaptation for DC, and as I think we talked about that when we did the Batman, where that seems to be their strong suit right now, is kind of taking over that path, opposed to being like the happy-go-lucky comic. Or comedy, I should say, friendly like Marvel movies. So yeah, I was a big fan of it, and I actually think that became the highest grossing rated R movie. Could be wrong, don't quote me on that, but I want to say it did take that throne from It 2017.
That feels right.
Yeah. So
what is it?
Joker. I think that took over It 2017 for the highest grossing rated R movie.
Did it take over from Deadpool?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think so. Because Deadpool 1 is what, 2016?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's not the highest rated R-rated movie. No, it would be like Titanic. Isn't Titanic R-rated?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought you see a booby. I've never actually seen it. We think we've talked about that on pod. Anyways, Joker.
I haven't either.
Joker, I'm lukewarm. Tyler really likes it, though.
Yeah. It is one of those movies, though, that I haven't seen it since it came out. I saw it in theaters one time, and I've never rewatched it, to be honest.
I have also only seen it once, and it was on, like, basically, it wasn't a pirated website, but it was basically a pirated website.
Sure, yeah.
The friend of my brother who works in Hollywood, he one time sent a Dropbox to my brother who shared it with me.
Should you be putting this out on pod?
I'll bleep it out. I don't know. This was like 3 years ago, and it was legal as far as I know. Anyway, maybe I'll mark it down. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, I received a mysterious letter in the mail.
A source, an envelope
Yeah,
of
a source.
cash.
Yeah, I saw a red flag and a vase on a balcony, and I knew it was time to meet Deep Throat, and then he gave me a link to a Dropbox. Anyway, that's your all the President's Men reference for the week. But I received this Dropbox, and what year was that? 2019, and it was like all of the almost every single movie that came to theaters in 2019 was in this Dropbox folder. And so I was able to watch it through that, but it was like really shitty quality. And like I watched half of it on my phone. Like I need to rewatch it fully. I got everything I needed out of it, but I would love to give that a rewatch where it's such shitty quality, because as we discussed last week with Jurassic Park, it does mean a lot to me as far as like the experience of everything goes. So, yeah, that's my little Joker story. But I was pretty positive on it. I would just want to rewatch it. But I'm 100% down for a sequel. That's for sure.
I think there's enough there to be able to justify for sure.
Yeah.
And like Blake touched on, I think the more DC gets away from the 80s, 90s music, funny jokes, and turn towards the darker side of things, and you can still obviously have some pretty dark humor in there if you really need to, and stuff like that. But yeah, just in comparison, even comics, the DC universe is significantly darker from a tone aspect, and it definitely needs to cater more towards that. And I think you'll capture a lot more fan base, and I think your movies will just be fucking better.
Yeah. Well,
Is it in Deadpool where he's like, "Oh, you're so dark. Are you from the DC universe?"
Yeah.
Is that Deadpool?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great line. Yeah, I guess that's really all we have information for on this, is that it's basically confirmed that's in production, but that's it. So we will keep you updated here at your most trustworthy news source, Back Row Banter, who gets all of their news from other sources, and let you know what updates we have there.
Secondhand news, secondhand.
Exactly. Moving on to our next news story. This is not completely shocking, but somewhat surprising, I would say. But we have a new leader of the post-pandemic, or I guess I shouldn't say leader, new member of the top pack of post-pandemic releases for theaters. Top Gun Maverick has cruised past Doctor Strange 2. And it's hit $400 million.
Yeah.
And this makes it the number 2 film of the post-pandemic era domestically after Spider-Man No Way Home, which ended up at $573 million.
Interesting.
So it's got a ways to go to pass that up. I don't think it'll get there, considering like, the movie came out 3 weeks ago, and it's kind of on a decline in that sense. And
Yeah.
I think Spider-Man No Way Home had a bit of a resurgence because it came out early December. Then it had that kind of Christmas resurgence almost, where people saw it for Christmas and everything. So that probably helped it out there. But regardless, like number 2 post-pandemic, 400 million in about 3 weeks or so. Like that's really, really good. And that's kind of what they were charting for it. I believe it is Tom Cruise's biggest film domestically. So that's exactly what they were tracking it to be. And they hit it. So
Yeah. That's I believe it though, man. I mean, because this is a movie we went on record and like we were all pretty positive on it. This is a movie like my parents went to go see, and that's like the first time my mom's been to a theater. I would probably say definitely since the pandemic started. Well, my dad's a pretty big movie guy, as you guys know. Like that's one like I think my mom was like, "Well, I'm gonna go see it with you, Keith, my dad." So like they went together. I've heard people at work talk about this, and that's obviously you guys know I work in like finance and insurance. So there's a lot of like older people as well, and they're like, "Oh, I love that Top Gun movie." You know what I mean? So it's just a movie that a lot of people like, man, and it's for that generation of people who are your 35, 45 plus.
Well, what's funny is you say that, but when I got to DC last week, everyone was talking about Top Gun, and like people wanted to go see it together again. Like some people had already seen it, some people who hadn't seen it wanted to go see it. Like people were talking about going and see Top Gun together, and like my cohort here. So It's not just that older generation that's talking about it. Like I think it's kind of struck a chord with a younger crowd as well, and I think that's definitely why it was able to get 400 million.
Right. Yeah, you certainly, I worded that poorly.
Oh no, you didn't all, because you're right.
Better.
You're right, because it definitely struck a chord with that audience, but I just
Right.
wanted to let you guys know, like it's not just the old people for sure.
Yeah, sure.
It's a lot of other people. I think everyone would kind of enjoy this movie.
So yeah, it's not too surprising once we actually watched and saw how much people valued it.
Yeah,
but still cool though. I mean, it's cool to like see stuff like that and not in the top movies every year not be like Marvel. And I hate to be that guy and just complain about Marvel movies all the time. I feel like that's me. But like, it is cool to see that sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The voice of
definitely.
reason on the podcast. BlakeHolder.
I'm sorry.
I said the voice of reason on the podcast. BlakeHolder, ladies and gentlemen.
This is gonna throw. I will say this is gonna throw a big wrench in the Tom Cruise running equals him making a better, more profitable movie kind of
What is flying if not running really, really fast?
So I guess he's going faster, and I think that actually, I guess it's just the speed. I think it just
The
changed the
speed at
hypothesis.
which Tom Cruise is moving.
Yes.
Exactly.
Not necessarily his legs.
So Hollywood, if you want to beat 400 million domestically in 3 weeks, you got to make him go Mach 11 in
He
some way,
must be going
shape, or form.
faster.
This is going
funny
to
as
end
hell.
with us shooting Tom Cruise out of the cannon.
It's actually going to end with Tom Cruise running 88 miles an hour and traveling back to the future.
I was just about to make that reference. I was just about to do that. I think that'd be appropriate.
Tom Cruise.
If they should never touch Back to the Future at all with any requels or anything. Don't do that.
Unless it's Tom Cruise.
But if they were to do that, I would be okay with Tom Cruise playing Marty McFly in his 50s or 60s or whatever. Although I think Michael J. Fox is still around, but I'd be okay if they just wanted to make him, Marty McFly, and he runs at 88 miles per hour with some kind of time travel fanny pack.
Or
Okay,
DC,
well, I'm listening.
Call up our boys DC on the phone. We tell them, hey man, Ezra Miller's just been a little bit off the chain recently, but if you want to have a Flash that can make you the most money in the world, we've got some pretty solid evidence that Tom Cruise is your boy.
I think if Tom
Could
Cruise,
you imagine a Flash movie with Tom Cruise play Flash?
It's almost too perfect.
You wouldn't have to use special effects,
Right?
You can actually run that
You
fast.
do it for real.
It's actually when you're seeing him run in all of his films, it's slow motion. It's actually at like 6 million frames a second.
It's barely a jog for him, really.
No, I'm kind of scared if he does that though, because if Tom Cruise runs at the speed of light, the amount of money that movie will make will cripple economies. Like it will destroy the global market.
Well, that's the goal of Scientology. It's all
You
part
know
of the
what?
plan.
I think we're onto something here.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the podcast crossovers, where we make random correlations between movie universes, and we don't give a shit if they make sense to you. We're making them.
We're gonna have to start putting on some type of like chart or charting program or ranking system of like, is this movie going to be better if Tom Cruise running in it? Like that's gonna be like our next ranking every time.
Oh man. So if you had wild ass conspiracy about Scientology and Tom Cruise, check that off the bingo card as well. We're really getting through them all today. Anyway, back to my last news story of the week. It's the clickbaity one. It's really not as exciting as it made it sound at the beginning of the episode, but it's sort of cool / really lame. I don't really know yet. We'll have to see. But Netflix is greenlighting, I should say, a Squid Game reality series. It is going to be a reality show with 456 players competing in a series of games to win the biggest prize pool in television history at $4.56 million.
But they're not dying, so I don't care.
Are they? Are they not? I don't know if I'm watching it if someone ain't dead. That's all I'm saying.
I
think
feels
this
like
kind of ruins Squid Game for me.
It 100% does. They just ruined their own creation.
Time and time again, it just is like, why do these companies take the wrong lessons from movies. Like, that is the exact opposite thing that Squid Games is supposed to have you feeling afterwards. Like, yeah, it was a little funny when Mr. Beast did this, like small white YouTube kid. Now the actual company is doing this, and like haven't they signed this dude on for like another 3 series or something like this? It just feels like they're throwing gobs of money at this, but. Yeah, okay, sure. 4.56 million. Get me in the game. I'm ready, folks. I'll sell my soul.
Also, Nathaniel, are we hopping the Squid Games? The Yin Yang twins.
There we go. We could do it. I mean, as long as we don't die.
I think that's our beat to like get featured in the show. It's like we're the Yin Yang twins, you know, and then we're quirky and fun, and they'll want to interview us.
Just outright appropriating Black culture 100%. And Asian culture.
Yeah. And you know what? Netflix is stupid enough to fall for it. So,
100%.
100%.
You guys will get millions for that, man.
Yeah. 4.56 million to be exact.
Oh,
in today's day and age,
just grossly misappropriating multiple cultures. Really, it's just.
Multiple birds with one stone, you know?
Yeah.
Efficient. It's all about efficiency.
As I said, it's a Jurassic World, baby, and I'm just living it.
Oh, God. We're all going to hell. Let's move on to trailer talk before we get ourselves into more trouble here. Black Adam. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson finally suiting up to be a superhero. If you asked me 10 years ago after Iron Man, who's the next superhero going to be? I go, oh, it's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Obviously, he's a real life superhero, or at least he looks like one. And 13 years later, we finally have him as a superhero. So that's convenient. What are our thoughts here? It definitely seems like it's outside the realm of anything else we've kind of seen in DC.
Boring.
I'm actually pretty excited for this.
Yeah,
I'm a tie.
Yeah, man, I really like The Rock, and I've been waiting for him to suit up for a while, and this has been in the talks for a really long time now, and I think with the right characters, I think this could be pretty good. You got Dr. Fate in there, which is a really cool aspect of the DC universe, and I think that this has a lot of potential. I'll just be very curious as to which direction they go, and obviously plot line and acting and stuff like that. But I think this has potential for sure.
Blake, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I caught the trailer, and I had more interest after the trailer than I did beforehand. I guess I would word it that way. But I don't know if that's because The Rock is that charismatic and he's awesome on screen. Like, Rock just seems like, yeah, I like that guy. He's one of those guys. You know what I mean? So I think it'll be okay. And I can't think of the other superhero's name. I remember that when we start talking about Justice League and things of that nature. But the guy with the wings,
Hawkman.
I don't remember. Yes. So I saw him in the trailer, and I was like, oh. That was just one of those people where, like, I wouldn't have thought I would want to see him in a film. Do you know what I mean? So I saw that, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm on board for that. So, yeah, it'll be cool. I don't know if it necessarily be, like, groundbreaking or one of the best superhero adaptations, right? I don't think it's going to be any of those, but I think, from what I've seen so far, I think it'll be a pretty good popcorn flick.
I think the thing that makes me the most excited for this movie is that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was quoted not too long ago saying that he wanted to look bigger than Black Adam does in the comic books. Like, he wanted to be bigger than the superhero that is not real. Like, and so if he's doing that for this role, he's all in. Like, he's all in. He's going to do everything he can for it. And if Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's all in on something, I'm all in on something. So I'm down to give this a shot. The DC so far has been very hit or miss. Some of them are decent. Some of them I enjoy. None of them are great, in my opinion. But maybe this is the one that changes it for me, and I have some fun with it.
Yeah, I don't know. This trailer just didn't really do much for me, in my opinion. I hate to be the Debbie Downer of the podcast, I guess, but I just, I agree with you guys. Rock's charismatic. Rock, I think, is really good. Obviously, Pierce Brosnan is awesome. I'm happy with the superhero choice and everything that they've gone with here, but the trailer just did not make me feel like it isn't something we haven't seen before, and I just, I don't know. I guess like maybe this is my superhero fatigue, where it's just like, if DC's going to do this plan of separate universes, you're going to have something in there that's going to bring my interest in for characters that aren't as mainstream, because I feel like I'm already devoting so much of my attention to Marvel, and that's the thing that I'm paying attention to at this point. And you're going to have to like do something spectacular or do something really, really interesting, especially if it's a character that's not Superman, Wonder Woman, or Batman, to get me into the theater. And the trailer for this was not something that I was like, it wasn't something I was like, I have to go see that in theaters. I mean, I'm sure we will for the pod, but like, that's one that like, I would be like, well, I can catch that on streaming, so far, at least from those first trailers. Not saying that they can't turn me around or anything like that, but that's just kind of where I am at the moment.
That's very fair. Yeah, I'm not saying that like the trailer did much for me, but like seeing the only thing it really did for me is like seeing The Rock in this suit.
Sure.
Seeing him actually finally becoming a superhero, like that does get me pretty excited.
Agreed. I want to see him like fight people though. Like if you're gonna make Dwayne, if he's gonna go that big, like I need some really good action out of him too, not just like a CGI fest as well too, maybe.
Sure. Yeah.
Like if you're gonna have the physicality in that role,
I would love
believe it.
a Black Adam Fast and the Furious crossover where Dwayne The Rock Johnson's Black Adam has to fight Vin Diesel, but because it's in both of their contracts that neither of them can lose a fight in a movie, like where they're counting the punches back and forth, somehow Vin Diesel, just regular Dom Toretto, is equal to Black Adam. I think that'd be hilarious to watch.
Well, then what happens when Luke Hobbs, already Dwayne The Rock Johnson in that universe, just shows up at the end of the fight?
Multiverse. That's a great question. Can the Rock lose
to himself?
Probably not. I don't know. Probably not. I think it's in both of the Rock's contracts.
And then we get an implosion of the Furious and the DC-verse. And who knows what we get after that?
An implosion of our, reality. I think that's when the universe stops.
It's a real rock in the hard place situation.
It really is. Literally. Love it. All right. Well, that's it for trailer talk here. We'll get into Adam Schwartz's completely subjective news streaming list for the week of June 12th through the 18th. It's 100% subjective. Essentially, listeners, there's a lot of things coming to these streaming services every week, but not all of them are worth watching. These are the things that I've hand selected that may be worth checking out. To Netflix, it's Pete Davidson Presents The Best Friends. It's Netflix is a joke festival, which they've been doing these pretty much all month. It's like it's like a comedy series almost, where it's like a comedy month essentially. Like they're just doing a bunch of comedy stuff. It's a multi-comic special hosted and curated by Davidson. And then David Letterman has something similar. It's 6 episodes. Each spotlights one comedian, including a 5-minute stand-up set and conversation with Letterman. So they each have one of those. And then a very great, incredible documentaries coming to Netflix. Won't You Be My Neighbor from 2016. This is the Fred Rogers documentary, which I know it was nominated. I don't know if it won for Best Oscar that year.
No, I think it lost.
I also think it lost, but I remember watching this and it was incredible. I believe this might have made me cry if I remember correctly. If not, it should have, because it's really, really good. So check that out. It's a fantastic documentary. You really need to see it. Amazon Prime, Hulu, and HBO Max. None of them have anything worth watching to those services. Disney Plus, though, is getting Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 5 and Miss Marvel Episode 2. I'm assuming Nathaniel and Ty, you guys have watched Obi-Wan. Has anyone checked out Miss Marvel?
I have.
Oh.
I also have.
Oh. Not the answers I was expecting. I thought we were passing on this one. You got some not in the club. I'm also not in the club of being caught up on Obi-Wan. I still haven't watched past episode 2. I'm ashamed of myself. You don't have to yell at me anymore. I am already sulking and crying myself to sleep every night. So anyway, that's it for new streaming. Let's get into what we're watching. I want to hear about Miss Marvel. Should I watch it? Should I just say fuck Obi-Wan and it's the greatest show ever on Disney Plus, or what's the word here?
Obi-Wan's still good.
Okay.
If anything, it's getting better, and I don't know exactly how they're gonna wrap things up. They only got 2 more episodes to do it, but you know, I trust Disney at this point with this.
I feel like that's what we say about almost all those 6 series ones. Like I feel like we've said that quite a bit about each one, where it's like I don't know how they're gonna do this last 2 episodes, but you know they do.
Yeah, you know they do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say check out Ms. Marvel. It seems pretty wholesome and pretty fun so far throughout the first episode, and it's not complete and utter garbage. And I like the characters. I kind of like the storyline so far, and they're just kind of building and gearing up. But so far, I like it, and I think you should watch it.
Agreed. Okay. It's kind of like a most similar in tone out of all the series that have come out as Hawkeye so far. And I would say also got kind of a mixture of like the Spider-Man Homecoming vibe in it as well too. But yeah, I really enjoyed it actually. Not something I was expecting. I think I just turned it on Disney Plus on to watch Obi-Wan, and then there it was, and I was like, oh yeah, let's watch this too. So
I did the same thing.
Yeah, it was a good little series. I enjoyed the first episode so far. I'll keep watching. The dad's easily my favorite part of it so far. He's just really sweet and is very, very nice. And so I like him a lot. And yeah, same with Tyler. I caught up on Kenobi as well. And I think it's doing its interesting things. It's just kind of a theme, I think, with the Disney Plus shows on both Marvel and Star Wars side in general. It's not like they're afraid to make big things happen, but it just seems like they're so often like told, hey, we have to get this character here. You're allowed to get about as this much, like this far out of the character's comfort zone, or these things are allowed to happen. Go have fun. And they kind of have to build around that sometimes. And I just feel like that plays with the pacing every now and then, as we kind of keep saying of like, oh, well, we're 4 episodes in. What's going to happen in the next 2 episodes? And I hope Disney will pull it off. We trust them to do so. And I don't know that they've really nailed an ending so far. I think Loki was pretty much the best version of it. But I'd love to be able to just be like, yeah, Disney, they're going to nail this every time. But and especially just because it is Obi-Wan and character that I do care a lot about. But yeah, I hope so. Anyways, sorry, Tyler. Continue what you're watching.
Oh, I didn't even know that's what I was doing.
Well, you are now.
Yeah. You know what? I'll do that. So, I got to Jurassic World. I got to Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Both are still fine. I thoroughly enjoyed the first one, as I think most people do. Just kind of like, your first adaptation since the originals. And I thoroughly enjoy myself watching that movie. Fallen Kingdom, sure, why not?
I really like Fallen Kingdom.
What's up?
I said I really like Fallen Kingdom, but I'll preface that by saying I really like the second half of Fallen Kingdom.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm kind of. We just kind of. Carolee and I started a. We were just kind of sitting, trying to figure out what we were gonna watch, and instead of like sitting there for 45 minutes, she randomly said SVU, and I said, "You do not have to twist my arm to watch Special Victims Unit, because I've watched pretty much every single episode." And there's 22 episodes. There's like, I think they're like 26 seasons right now and everything like that.
That show started in 1999.
Yeah, it's great. I've watched literally everyone.
That's insane. How much of your life do you think you've devoted to SVU? Days
Yeah,
at this point?
100%.
Gotta be, right?
Yeah. So yeah, you don't have to twist my arm to watch that show, and it's still good. I got to it's a Spielberg, and it's a Red Tails.
Isn't that it's a Spielberg
produced? Yeah,
yeah, that's the one with George Lucas produced too, right? It's the World War II fighter guys.
Yeah, because it's very odd. You see the Lucasfilms thing kind of pop up in the beginning. You're like, wait, what the fuck?
Right? Are they the Tuskegee Airmen?
Correct.
Yeah, that's a really great story.
It is a really cool story, and there's a lot of other movies out there and a lot of adaptations, but I've seen this one a couple times. The only thing I really don't overly care for about this movie is the artist Ennio is in it.
Oh yeah,
and he's just a fucking idiot, and I hate it. And he's got like this stupid little like twang in his voice, and I'm like, God, I just hate who you are in this movie.
Fair enough.
And then the other thing I hate about it too is like at one point in the movie, of course, they have him playing like a guitar and like singing in the background. I'm like, that's just not fucking necessary. I thought it was so stupid.
There's always an R&B artist in those war movies that's trying to make it as an actor, though, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure it's written in his contract. They're like, hey man, like I'm an artist first and foremost, so like I better be in like one scene playing guitar, like singing or doing something cool. It's like just shut up. But yeah. I got to another. It's relatively. It's not like super old, but it's, I don't even really know like what people's take on it is. But it's a movie called Push. Chris Evans.
Yeah, I remember that. It's like 2011 or something like that.
Dakota Fanning.
Yeah. I've never seen it.
It's not bad. I like the principle of it and the story. I believe it's a book as well. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm pretty sure it is.
And yeah, it's a cool story. I like it. It's got some pretty cool aspects to it, and those are good actors. So
True.
Check it out. And then the last thing that Carol and I got to is a documentary on Netflix called Our Father.
Yes.
Yeah, we were talking about that a couple weeks ago.
Crazy.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty atrocious.
Yeah. You both watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the story before this, or was this your first time hearing of this?
It was like something I like kind of vaguely remembered, where I just couldn't tell if it was something I was like misremembering or if I actually did kind of vaguely remember it.
I feel like it's like an urban legend.
Urban legend.
Yeah. Like it's something that you would hear like in the early days of the internet or something like that, or like an email chain
100%.
or something like this doctor was found doing this or whatever. But then the craziest thing about it is the bit at the end where they've found like 7 other doctors that have done the same thing. And
44.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, much scarier, much bigger number. Like that's the documentary.
Yin Yang twins?
We could be.
Are we? So yeah, I mean, to kind of catch people up on what's happening. One, you should just go watch this. I'm not really going to spoil anything, but it's a doctor who's a fertility doctor, and you're supposed to use donors or use the husband's sperm to inseminate whatever that situation is, your wife or whoever.
Women.
This doctor would essentially just use his sperm. And he's got a lot of kids, and it's counting. And you should go watch it. It's very interesting. It's very disturbing. There's a couple of very overly gross thoughts that you can have, during this, and like just there's a lot of what the fuck moments. So I would highly recommend going and watch it. It's really well done. And this is true. It's a true story.
Yeah, it's a crazy story.
Yeah, it's pretty absurd how everything pans out.
And it is still panning out as far as.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So Nathaniel, what have you been watching?
Well, I'm happy you asked. No, I got to Kenobi and Miss Marvel, and then I really didn't have too many other things this week. We've been working our way steadily through Stranger Things. So we got through episodes 4 and 6. I mean, most of them are like 48 minutes to an hour 15 at this point. So
did you guys skip 5?
No, we did not skip 5. We also watched 5. But yeah, so that's been good and kind of nice. I feel like if I binged it, this would be kind of tough. To not like in a negative way or anything like that, but there's just a lot happening kind of thing. So I'm kind of enjoying taking my time with it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But good season overall. I'm excited to see where it goes. And now if I spread them out more, obviously I don't have to wait as long for the rest of the season to finish. But yeah, recommend that as well if you're on the Stranger Things train. And then actually today, a couple of the other things I got to, the only other thing I got to was a series on Netflix called Fight World. I don't know if anyone else has heard of this at all.
I have
maybe.
not.
So listeners may not know, but among other things that I do in my free times, one of the big things I watch is a lot of MMA. And so one of the on Netflix, there's a show called Fight World, and it's a guy by the name of Frank Grillo. He's an actor. Most people would probably know him best as Crossbones from Captain America: Civil War / Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But he's also been in like one of the Purge movies as well. He often plays kind of like a bad guy or like a security guy or something like that. But he has a series on Netflix. He basically goes around to different cultures, looking at like that culture's kind of style of fighting. So, and it's not always like 100%, but like the first one, he goes to Mexico and talks to a lot of world championship boxers and that kind of thing. And then this most recent one I was watching, he was in Thailand talking to a bunch of Muay Thai fighters and kind of what their life is like. And, a lot of these places, these people come up in like schools where they're in different fighting styles or anything like that. So that's just something that piqued my interest and has been kind of enjoyable to watch. So, that was really the only things I got to. I think I also got to like a Turning the Tables this week or, what else is on YouTube. But that was really it. I'll kick it over to actually Adam. I am curious. I want to know. The only thing I want to know is, did Papa Schwartz get to Kiki's delivery service?
He did. You know what? I'm gonna shoot him a text right now to see if we can get a live Papa Schwartz what you're watching. But he did get to it. All right, I gotta text him. What were your thoughts on Kiki's delivery service? We'll see how long it takes him to respond. This might have to be a post-review little segment here. Papa Schwartz is what we're watching. He did get to it. He turned it on and was very surprised that it was animated, but I said, don't let that turn you off. He said, I'm not going to. And his only concern was he was watching it with actually my sister and my mom. And I don't think they anticipated it would be animated. So I really don't know what happened, to be honest. He never really gave me an update on that. I think that was while I was at Monticello. It was while I was somewhere. And ended up having to or I think it was Saturday maybe.
Hang out with some billionaires.
Yeah, I was, busy rolling with the big dogs, as my friends kept saying. Anyway, he did check it out. We'll see. Have to see what he thought about it. But I wasn't sure.
What about you? What have you been watching?
Not a lot. Still busy. Just trying to stay busy. I'm trying to enjoy my time out here, even if it's not really doing much, but just like hang out with the people I have out here and the friends I have out here, just enjoying what I can. So it's like I haven't been spending as much time at night, just like watching things like I usually would. So still haven't gotten to a lot. Eventually I will get around to Obi-Wan and maybe I'll check out Ms. Marvel and eventually maybe go to Stranger Things or The Moon Knight, but I can keep going with things that I want to get around to, and that's kind of the issue. So what I did watch though, what I have stayed true to, is the Formula One racing. Azerbaijan, Baku.
Oh
yeah. A casual 1-2 for Tyler's favorite team, and he goes, oh yeah. Fun race to watch. In some ways, and not necessarily at the front of the pack. I mean, it was a very intense first half of first 17 laps of the race, and then one by one, the Ferrari power units just dropped like flies.
4 in total.
4 power units, all manufactured by Ferrari, including, I don't know what was said about Sainz's car. They said hydraulic issue on the broadcast, but I don't know if they know that for sure or what the official report was. But minimum 3 Or was it minimum 4 and then there was a 5th retirement? Am I mistaken?
So it was
It was Leclerc.
it was both Ferraris,
Both Ferraris
an Alfa Romeo,
and
a Haas.
Okay. Okay, so maybe Either way,
It's not a good
brutal.
look.
It's not a good look for Ferrari, and especially if you're a Ferrari fan. I personally like this point. I'm rooting for Checo at this point. Like Max is Max. Checo, he's just racing incredibly, and I think he's gotten so much confidence this season, and I love to see him taking these podiums like they're nothing.
Yeah, it's a fun season for both of them, and it's a really fun season for Red Bull in general, and it's cool because you're gonna have this duo for a few more years now, and I think I think for sure Max has definitely got enough in the tank to hit another championship back to back this year for sure, and then yeah, man, I would not hate seeing Checo as a world champ. I think that would be really, really great for him, and he's been in the league for a while.
I could so see it happening too with the way he's been racing. Maybe
he's
not
really
this
great,
season,
man.
Maybe not this season, but if say he gets second, which he's in second right now, I believe. Like next season, who knows what happens? They're in the same car, him and Max. Like Max is faster, but that is
Max
ultimately
has a better Max has a better race pace for sure on a regular basis, but Checo outqualifies him almost every single Grand Prix.
Exactly. Like and not only that, but while he can't like match Max's pace, he has so many other things that are very important to racing: his tire management, his defending on
He's smart, man.
He and his experience shows in all of that, and I could realistically see next season. I mean, obviously that's a very long time from now. We don't even know what's going to happen the rest of the season. We're not even halfway through yet.
Yeah, we still got a long road ahead of us.
We still got a long way to go, and I'm very happy that we have a long way to go because, man, I love watching this. But, unfortunate weekend for Ferrari because I really feel for Charles because I really was hoping it'd be him and Max kind of fighting for first. And at this point, Ferrari's like really not on the map. But that being said, that's what we said about. I mean, after the first 3 or 4 races, we're like, oh yeah, Red Bull is washed this year. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And they brought it back, and it's really turned the tables. And also for our Mercedes, I mean, Russell's been P5 every single race, at least top 5 every single race, which is an incredible statistic when you think about that.
Yeah, he's very consistent.
Yes, definitely. But they've also this weekend saw a lot better pace in their car, and we're keeping up a lot better. And I think Hamilton got up to P4.
Yeah, I think my biggest heartbreak for this race was Tsunoda.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. He was racing really, really well.
I mean, he was in the points, and he was definitely, I think he was like 5th or 6th or something like that. And then
he was.
because of that this DRS flap like breaking in half, they pulled him in, and then they had to sit there and tape it. When that black and orange flag does not happen very often, and it's rather unfortunate that they pulled it out there because they could have easily told him to just not use DRS for the rest of the race, and he would have been fine.
Yeah. That's definitely unfortunate. So, but regardless, still an entertaining race to watch since they all are. Formula One never ceases to entertain, in my opinion. And a good race for your boy Max.
Agreed. I'll take a Red Bull 1-2 any day of the week.
They're 3rd of the season,
particularly on Sundays,
which is really insane to me because I remember when they had their first one of the season. I forgot where it was at, but it was like that was their Red Bull's first 1-2 since like 2017.
Yeah,
long, and now they just casually have 3 in one season, and it's just like, oh, cool, this is normal now.
Within the first 6 races.
Yeah. I know, it's wild. It's awesome. But yeah, Baku was great. Nathaniel, you want to touch on Baku? I'm assuming you watched.
I did not watch.
Oh.
Yes, I was up late.
No.
I was up late watching the UFC the night before, so it was.
You sacrificed Formula One for UFC.
I did, yeah. At the end of the day, my allegiance is to the blood sport. It just is how it is. But no.
All I'm saying is people have died in Formula One and people haven't died in UFC. So
Fair enough. Well,
Which is a real
maybe I
point.
don't like death, but I just like violence.
Okay.
Yeah, congrats to Yuri Prohaska on his light heavyweight championship, and Valentina for retaining her 125 championship. Sad to see Joanna Jędrzejczyk retire, but wish her all the best. Strawweight queen.
Whatever
in my
that
books.
means, right, listeners?
Blake, what have you been watching? I'm tired of hearing Adam talk.
Yeah. For starters,
Blake's like, yeah, me too.
No.
I'll pick that up.
But yeah, for starters, I began Stranger Things season 4.
Hey.
So
Nice.
I finally kind of broke down on that. Everyone said that this was one of the bigger horror element seasons, I guess, which I have seen already. I'm 2 episodes in, and there's a ton of body horror.
Oh, yeah.
That I haven't seen
Yeah.
in any of the other seasons. So yeah, so far pretty cool. I haven't watched enough to give an articulated opinion, right? So far, I guess not necessarily like my favorite season, I guess. That's
Okay.
like my takeaway off 2 episodes, but let me deep dive some more. The monster design is really cool. I'll give you that though. So yeah, we'll see kind of we'll see where the plot takes us and kind of what's going on. So I watched that, and then I did get to one movie that I somehow just turned on when I was just looking for something bored to watch and kind of fall asleep to. I ended up watching The Omen, which is the 2006 remake of the original movie. I think it's like a 1970s movie. And it's basically an adopted child who's the son of the devil.
Yep.
So yeah, the 2006 remake that actually has Julia Stiles in it, and what's the other guy's name? Is it Lev Schreiber? Is that his name?
Liev Schreiber?
Liev Schreiber. That's what it is.
Yeah.
He was also in Scream 3.
And I think
so-
Pete Postlethwaite from Lost World is in that movie too. I thought for a sec. Sorry, folks. For a second, I thought we did Lost World on the podcast as well, but I just watched that last week. So, anyways, back to Blake's story.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, put that one on, and that was the first time I saw it in a while. So it was on, I think, like HBO Max or something. I was like, oh wow, they got that on here. So threw it on there. One I've seen several times. Not my favorite child is the devil type film,
Sure.
right? But not too bad. I do want to get to the original of that. That's something I should just kind of do.
Do
my
you
due diligence on?
do you remember when that movie came out and it was
Yes.
released on 6/6/06?
2006.
Yep.
I do remember that because I was 11 years old.
Yep.
So this is one of those movies where I do remember the release of that movie, and I do remember watching this as a child and being like, "Oh, this is fairly scary."
You gotta believe that like 3 years out, they're like, all right, we gotta start planning. Like we gotta figure.
Oh yeah,
something
we got to
out.
do this.
Makes
You
sense.
got a date to hit, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that was cool. Not like I said, not a huge takeaway, but yeah, more interested in Stranger Things. So far, it has my attention. We'll see where it goes, and yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. So, have any of you guys finished that yet? I think Ty finished it, right?
I don't know if Tyler's at the computer right now. I can't see his room,
Yeah.
so dark.
I assume
I
he's
don't-
on.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I thought he may
he
have
started
finished it.
it.
I could be wrong.
I don't know if
Okay.
he finished.
I
know
think he's finished.
Talked about it on What We're Watching last week. I think he also finished, but I don't know. for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, and I
So,
got
yeah.
one episode left.
Okay, so yeah, well, maybe we can give a deep dive recap. I'll see if I can finish it this week, and
Bit
we'll
of
go
sizzle.
from there.
Bit of sizzle.
So yeah, that's all I had. And outside of that, NBA Finals.
Hey,
YouTube.
I had a lot of bets hit on the NBA Finals last night. So
Yeah, man, I'm rooting for Celtics,
no,
but I think
Gross.
I think this series is over next game. To be honest, with you. That's what my gut says.
yeah, that's what my gut says too. I can't believe you're rooting for the Celtics though.
What? Come on, they're the underdog, man. I don't want to see the same team
As
win
as
5
a team,
championships.
yes, they're the underdog, but historically, Celtics are tied for the most.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, right.
Wow,
Obviously, they're the Lakers. Right.
Yeah, they're the Yankees of the NBA, and on
Yeah.
principle, I can't root for them. So
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, I'm
And
not
plus-
a Celtics fan by any means. I want to be on record
Plus,
for that.
give Steph another ring. What is to say him having another ring isn't going to do something for him being considered even better? historically. I love
do
Steph.
agree with
He's
that.
He's insane. He's insane.
I agree with that. But me being such a Bron stan, I
Oh,
don't want
God.
Steph Curry to have the same amount of rings as Bron.
I definitely
Right.
do. I hate
So
LeBron.
you're insane, dude. Bron's the best player to ever play basketball. That's my opinion, but it's not a sports podcast.
And I thought Nathaniel had hot UFC takes, but here we are, ladies and gentlemen.
What, man?
Here
We'll
we
deep
are.
dive another day. Bron is crazy, man. Year 18, man. He's still averaging 28.
Jesus.
Can't play any better year 18, Adam. Or year
No,
17.
I'm not saying he's
Can't.
not a freak of nature, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Nonetheless,
have a
that's-
hard time liking him.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
hard for me to
Yeah.
like him, but
Yeah,
I
I feel
still
you.
think after watching The Last Dance, and I just have to have that allegiance to Jordan.
Yeah. That's gonna be one of those things, and even like Tom Brady and things of that nature. Where like when LeBron gets his Lance Dance, when Tom Brady gets his Lance Dance, 20 years from now, like that's when people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, this guy's amazing." You know what I mean? It's one of those things like you're just not gonna.
Yeah, when you put
appreciate
in all of the highlights throughout their career, minus
For sure.
everything that happened with Jordan's dad, but like when you put in all of their sports highlights into a show,
Yeah.
everyone's gonna love them. So
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully they put in Tom Brady kissing his kids into that one in like 10 years. They would be timely.
Well, and Tom Brady is while we're on the sports topic. Tom Brady is also like one of the few athletes who like his rebrand the past like 3 years is phenomenal. Where like Tom
Yeah.
Brady was like one of the most hated like NFL players, right?
Yeah, I know,
Obviously
really
he
liked
wins a
him.
lot, and like now like everybody loves Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
For sure.
shout out his
don't.
PR team. Boy, Ty's an Aaron Rodgers fan, where his trajectory is obviously going the other way. Great player, but just in terms of people liking Aaron Rodgers, I think that list is getting shorter and shorter each year. But
Sweet
great
and
song.
swift.
Yeah.
Sweet and swift. Let's get this review started. We are very long on time here, listeners. Welcome to the review segment here at Back Row Banter. Nathaniel, would you like to give them a rundown of how the review segment works?
What up, folks? If you are new to Back Row Banter, or perhaps you've just forgotten, here at Back Row Banter, we have our main review segment, which is split into two sections. The first section is the non-spoiler section. The second section is the spoiler section. It's going to be split by the spoiler sound, so if you don't want to have anything spoiled for you, don't worry about it. We'll play the spoiler noise for you, and Adam will write it in the show notes. In the non-spoiler part, we'll go into the IMDb summary. Our first reactions, recommendations. We do have to recommend the movie or not recommend it. It is a yes or no answer. And then after that, we'll go into any big spoilers, any big plot twists, or bigger thoughts on the movie itself. But do come back, even if you don't want it spoiled for you, to see where it ranks on our Entropy list, which is our big list of everything we've watched on the podcast, ranked. With that being said, Adam, tell me about Jurassic World Dominion.
I'm going to say Dominoes.
Okay. Yeah.
It took me a minute to get there.
Anyway, welcome, listeners. This is Jurassic World Dominion, released this year, the year of our Lord 2022. PG-13 with a runtime of 2 hours and 26 minutes.
Mhm.
Hello?
Yes, indeed.
And an IMDb rating of 6.0 out of 10. Directed, of course, by Colin Trevorrow, who executive produced the last one, directing credit, or Fallen Kingdom. He also did the first Jurassic World, right?
He directed the first Jurassic World, a movie called Safety Not Guaranteed, and another movie called The Book of Henry, which was so bad it allegedly lost him the right to direct the third Star Wars sequel movie. And then they brought JJ back in for that. And then they gave him this one.
All right. Written by Emily Carmichael, Colin Trevorrow, and a story by Derek Connolly. Let me see if there's more writing credits that my computer will not see.
Just Michael Crichton for the characters.
Crichton. There you go.
Yep.
Starring, of course, Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Laura Dern returns, as well as Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum. Let's go. And then on top of that, we have DeWanda Wise and Mamodu Athi. I really hope I pronounced that. And Isabel Sermon, I think, is the last. Oh, sorry. Campbell Scott is Dodson.
Dodson.
And Dodson. And B.D. Wong as Dr. Henry Wu. So lots of requel energy here. Lots of requel energy here. Took them 3 movies, but they finally
requel energy.
They finally got there. So that's your kind of main cast here. The IMDb summary reads as follows: 4 years after the destruction of Isla Nublar, dinosaurs now live and hunt alongside humans all over the world. This fragile balance will reshape the future and determine once and for all whether human beings are to remain the apex predators on a planet they now share with history's most fearsome creatures in a new era. Oh my god, that was so much.
Yeah, I don't think that's a very good summary at all.
No, it really... Yeah, it's got nothing to do with the movie. I wish that actually sounds more interesting than the movie. So props to you for like being imaginative, but yeah, it's not it. Can someone else take like this recap summary here? Because I didn't rewatch the first 2 of these, so I'm like, there were parts of this where I was like, huh?
So you got Jurassic World, where they basically have rebuilt Jurassic Park, but this time it's working. And they try and make a new dinosaur with more DNA or more predatory DNA, and then that breaks out, takes down Jurassic World.
Remember all that, yeah.
Yep. You got the Velociraptor Blue, which gets captured in the second one because she's the key to some sort of DNA thing. Of course. To make sure that like Velociraptors are more docile or whatever, so that they can build action raptors. And the action
raptors.
Yeah, the action raptors, they get targeted with a laser. And if the laser gets on you, then they'll go after you. And in that one, they also have cloned a little girl. And she more or less gets adopted by Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt's character. And then at the end of it, they have released, or Isla Nublar, or Isla Sorna. No, Isla Nublar is blown up by a volcano, but they have released most of the dinosaurs, or at least most of the species of the dinosaurs on the island, out into the world. Now you're caught up.
Cool. Now that was like the first 2. Can you do this one?
So after all of that, basically, they're trying to hide.
After dinosaurs are released into the ecosystem.
Yes, they are trying. Mom and Dad, Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt, are trying to hide the clone girl from the world, because if the world knows about the clone girl, then cloning humans will be a thing, which they've decided is probably not a good thing. And Biosyn, which is the other company to NGen, has now taken over the control of the dinosaurs in like a little park or a reserve where no one is supposed to go in. And they have now started, or they've gotten far enough that they are no longer creating genetically cross-spliced dinosaurs, but they've actually been able to create whole new or reimagined or rediscovered dinosaurs, and they've added more species. Yeah, pure dinosaurs. And Sam Neill and Laura Dern are out hanging out doing their thing, and Jeff Goldblum's a philosopher, rock star, philanthropist.
He's playing Jeff Goldblum again, and I love it.
Yeah, to even more so, I would say.
Yeah, right? I love it. I need Jeff Goldblum and everything. I want a Jeff Goldblum Tom Cruise movie.
Whoa.
But that's a conversation for a different day.
It's The Flash, I'm telling you.
Who does Jeff Goldblum play then? Aquaman? Like
no.
Martian Manhunter?
No, Reverse Flash.
Oh. Okay. I don't know how that works. Anyway, what are we thinking here, guys? Nathaniel, obviously resident Jurassic Park / dinosaur, aficionado. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I didn't hate my time while I was watching this movie. It's definitely not. It shouldn't be 2.5 hours long. And in a world where like movies really need to justify their own existence at this point, just because they're big moneymakers and they need to be something else besides just moneymakers. There's a lot of, I think, kind of just disappointment with this one in some ways that I have, and just kind of like, okay, really, that's where we were going with this. That's what this has all been building to. But there's still, like any Jurassic Park movie, I still think there's interesting ideas in here. If you want to have, just see some dinosaurs and you want to quote unquote turn your brain off, yeah, you can definitely do that with this movie. But just coming off of last week, where I feel like I was so impassioned and so positive with the original Jurassic Park. This is just so far from that, and again, maybe referencing, as I was talking about earlier, just indicative of Hollywood always learning the wrong lessons from what makes iconic masterpiece movies as well. And nowhere is, I think, that more kind of indicative than like if you compare the script and how the action flows in the original Jurassic Park to this latest iteration, and just kind of like there's several points in the movie where you can just be like, well, what was their plan here? And like, why is all of this just happening in general? So yeah, I recommend it if you want to go and see it, but like, this is really as tight as I've ever come down on a recommend, not recommend. I feel like if you have any love for the original movies, there'll be something for you to enjoy here. But if you're just kind of like casually saying like, hey, am I going to enjoy the new Dominion? I think like general public will probably think it's passable, but it's pretty disappointing for people that love the original from a filmic perspective, I think.
Well said.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, that's been it for episode 106. Blake and Todd.
Yeah, I don't really care for this movie, to be honest with you. Now I have seen all of the Jurassic Worlds though, right? So I have seen the 2015 or 2016 or so, then Fallen Kingdom. And I like both of those substantially more than I like this film. And I think that's saying a lot, because even when I watched the second one in theaters, and it just feels like time flies, because I remember watching the second one in theaters and like talking about that
At the store?
film at the store with Nathaniel. Right. And that's when I realized Nathaniel loves like Jurassic World or Jurassic Park, right?
Yes.
So
no, I remember
man.
I remember hearing Nathaniel enjoyed that movie, and I looked at him like, bro.
Yeah, me too. I was like, that's like the first movie opinion you've had where it's like, you're questionable, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so nonetheless, though, I mean, I think both of those movies are drastically better than the film that they just put out. And yeah, I don't really care for it. I mean, the plot's very lackluster. There's so much like exposition dumps from like characters. Yeah. And then like, I don't know, then just in terms of like the dinosaurs, like there's not even a lot of fucking dinosaur shit going on. And that's when I'm like, well, that's almost what I want to see when I go to these movies. Like, at minimum, at least give me like the brainless dinosaur action.
And I feel like the dinosaurs looked worse.
Yeah. And it's not there, man. Bottom line, it wasn't there for me. So I wouldn't recommend this.
Feels rushed, feels messy, feels like they were like, here's the plot and this is what we're going to do. And everyone was just kind of like, all right, not like, hey, I have an idea for what the final Jurassic World could be. Here's my idea. Here's how we're going to flesh out everything. Here's where the action's going to rise and fall,
Yep. That's my 2 cents. Ty?
This is a weird one, because like for the nostalgia purposes, anybody that says like, hey man, like, should I check it out? Like, yeah, I want you to check it out.
I feel that too. I really do.
Because it's Jurassic World. It's part of that universe, and it's something that is very special. The hard part for us is we just grew up with the original, and Spielberg decided to make a masterpiece, and And you know,
Damn
so
it,
we're
damn it, Steven.
so we're a little spoiled in that aspect. But yeah, this misses a quite a few you know, rungs for me. If somebody still comes up to me, you know, if I'll tell them that, you know, I think you should still go see it. As to whether or not you want to go pay for it, or you want to wait until this comes to home, or, you know, HBO or some shit for free, then that's on you. But
That's brutal. Just a Jurassic Park movie that you're not seeing in theaters. Like, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly,
Yeah,
but like
right.
that hurts my soul a little bit, you know.
100%. But yeah, this misses the mark a little bit. But you know, just based on the non-spoiler kind of facts, you know, it's a miss. But I'll probably still tell you to go watch it if you're a fan of Jurassic Park and Jurassic World.
Yeah. Adam?
You guys, there's not much more I can add on. Like, this, it's not a recommend. I'll say it off the bat. I really don't like unless you're Nathaniel and like this, or Ty to an extent. Like this in this franchise means a lot to you. I don't think it's worth watching. It's not. There are some decent parts to it where I was like, you know, enjoying some of the action, but there's just so much here that I'm just like, why? Like it doesn't do anything. Like it's such like a I feel no stakes. I feel, you know, nothing pushing the plot. I feel like it's just so meh all around. And then it's two, and not only that, it's 2.5 hours of meh. And I'm just I don't know, that the third act just felt so long to me. And yeah, I didn't have that many. I didn't have very high hopes for this movie. It kind of was like barely above where I was actually expecting it, which I was like, okay, because I actually did expect this to be pretty dog shit, and it was like barely dog shit. So, you know, a market improvement, I guess, from where I had the expectations. But yeah, it's not a recommend for me personally. You know, you'll kind of know if you're like the type of person who's like gonna want to go see this, and if you're unsure, it's definitely a pass. I'd recommend going and seeing Top Gun Maverick again. I would have.
No, for sure.
Yeah, I would have rather done that.
For sure.
You know, I will say if you want to go see this in Dolby, it was a great Dolby movie.
It is.
I in fact
the audio's
actually,
really good in Dolby.
yeah, the audio is great here. I went to my first Alamo Draft House. Had my first Alamo Draft.
Those are
House
supposedly
experience.
great.
It was a really good time. It was hard for me to enjoy it because I had never been to this area of DC and don't know if I will ever return alone. It got off the train. I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting.
Kind of a rough
So
neighborhood.
that's kind of what I gathered. Didn't spend enough time there. Didn't really want to figure it out because it was like a 7:40 or 7 o'clock showing on a Sunday night, and I got out and it was like 10. I was like, okay, yeah, we're
Time to go home.
hopping on that train as soon as I can. And so yeah, it was. But the theater itself was fun. Yeah, it was definitely cool. Good menu, good drink selection. I didn't end up ordering food because I had eaten before I left, and everything's expensive out here. So I was like, maybe I'll pass on food, and I just got a drink, and it was good. But yeah, definitely cool experience. And like I said, the Dolby was really good in this. The audio was insanely like well crafted it as far as the direction and everything like that goes. And this is probably, as Dolby experiences go, one of the better ones that I've had. So props to whoever did the mixing on this because it was really, really good.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
Yeah. A positive. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
There are some positives in this, I think.
Would you like to list some before we get into spoilers?
It's
Non-spoiler positives.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Neill's great in this as well. I think Laura Dern and obviously Jeff Goldblum, always great to see them back. I'll have more thoughts on like some of that definitely beyond the spoiler break, but yeah. So I think they're all great. I really find the clone girl. I think she was really affecting for me in Fallen Kingdom. I think she's good well in this as well too. The new characters that are introduced, I really enjoyed once they came on. I think actually they're some of the better characters in the movie.
Yeah, Ramsey, I think is his character's name.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed
him. Really enjoyed him, and acting was great. His character was really, really well kind of put together, and he served a very good role in the movie, one of the only ones to do so.
Yeah, I really like the pilot as well. I thought she was really fun as soon as
she was good.
on screen as well too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think other than that, it's there's still some cool dinosaur action in there as well too. One thing I will say is I wish, Colin Trevorrow just does not have any sense of suspense. There are so many so many bits in this movie that I'm just like, oh man, if Spielberg had shot this, it would have just been so much
There's
better.
only one time where I would have thought that this was a good suspenseful part of this movie.
Yeah.
Which part?
Is it the part that's in the trailer?
No.
Or no?
Is it underground?
It's not. I mean, it's
Can we
when
jump
she's-
out of spoilers so he can just say it?
Yeah, we could go into
Have we done
spoilers. We'll start
Yeah.
spoilers off with that. So I will
All right.
I will recommend with the caveat that unless you really love Jurassic Park, you're probably not going to like this that much. But
I will also be in that.
I can also see I can still see someone that's just like, I've seen Jurassic Park, it's whatever, like who kind of thinks these are all about the same. I think they could just go and see this and enjoy themselves. But
I think to a general person, probably, maybe, but I don't. Like I said, I'd rather you go see Top Gun Maverick again. I think you'd enjoy it better a second. I think you'd enjoy Top Gun Maverick a second time more than you would enjoy this. But
Fair enough.
Maybe that's just me. Well, let's get into spoilers here, folks. If you have not seen Jurassic World and do not want it spoiled for you, go ahead, check that episode description where I've left a timestamp you can jump to where you'll be taken to the ranking of the movie up upon the entropy list. Spoilers.
shit goes
The most
down.
Shit goes down in I don't know what era.
And up
the
and around.
Crustacean era. I'm gonna go with
Cretaceous.
That sounds right.
Cretaceous.
Cretaceous.
Yeah, crustaceans are like crabs.
Promiscuous.
Crustacean? Yeah, crustaceans are like
Crustaceans.
crabs,
Mm,
like lobsters.
yeah. Sea cucumbers.
Which I learned this week. Apparently, nature, supposedly, and I heard this
Allegedly.
secondhand news, allegedly. Apparently, crabs are one of those things that is like a perfect organism, and like nature is slowly trying to build more crabs. Like that's like a good evolutionary organism. Like they've kind of finished their evolutionary arc.
They live for a very usually when they die, it's not due to health reasons.
I thought
Right.
it was lobsters, but maybe it's both of them.
You may be right. Maybe it's lobsters.
Maybe it's just
But usually when they
crustaceans.
die, it's just as the result of being prey.
They got to be
you know what I
along
mean?
some kind of
Crab
similarity.
people.
I knew that was coming. Anyway, sorry, Tyler. What were you saying right before
Short and
spoilers?
sweet. Yeah, let's.
So
Sweet and swift.
The most suspenseful part of this movie is when Claire she has to eject and then she falls,
Yes.
and then
she's
she's
under
getting
the
out
water.
of her ejection seat, and then
Yes,
she's
that's what I was trying to
getting
reference.
followed around by Freddy Krueger monster
Yeah.
dinosaur.
The Dilophosaurus Rex something. I don't know.
Edward Scissors the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another podcast I listened to called The Salad Fingers Dinosaur.
And she goes underwater,
it.
and
It could also be hot dog fingers from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
yeah, that too.
I'm sorry, Ty. Continue.
No, you're okay. She goes underwater to essentially get her scent away from this dinosaur, and she's like just maybe 5-6 inches underwater,
Yeah.
and you can see it's a cool little half shot. You see her underwater, but you see the dinosaur above her, and then it screams, and you can see kind of like the sound waves, and like in water that would be loud as fuck.
Yes.
Yeah, that thing was terrifying. That was actually a
yeah.
good dinosaur.
So yeah, that was probably like one of the more suspenseful parts of the movie that I actually thoroughly enjoyed. I was like, oh, maybe things are know, and then no.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, funny enough, speaking of that dinosaur, Edward Scissorhands dinosaur, remember when I brought up a zoo tier on YouTube? I think I actually brought that up the same day I brought up Turning the Tables.
Okay.
But yeah, nonetheless, though,
yeah.
he did a ranking on dinosaurs, though. And that dinosaur was ranked fairly high. And that was the first thing I thought of when I saw that dinosaur. I was like, oh my God, I know that dinosaur. From
These guys
Zoo
watch
Tier.
Zoo Tier.
Yeah. And it was like an A tier dinosaur, which was like impressive. So like a T-Rex was B tier.
Wow.
Right. And he was basically just kind of designing that based off like power, intelligence, the usage of claws, which are obviously very favorable in the animal kingdom. Like that's why cats have claws and dogs. A lot of species have claws. Lobsters, crabs. Nonetheless, but yeah, so that was really cool. I was like, oh, that's cool.
I'm with you. That is cool.
Yeah.
What else were there to talk about? A lot of locusts in this one. So
A lot of locusts.
So Biosyn's plan is to create. So they want the clone so that they can cure disease and make everyone better with cancer. They can control basically the medical side of things, right? But then their other little side project that they've got going on is they're making
R&R. They're little,
Yeah, they're making giant locusts, giant Cretaceous era locusts that will eat only other people's food, not Biosyn crop. And that's what draws Laura Dern in, and she goes and gets Sam Neill. And yeah.
Yes, because no one is going to put together that Biosyn crop is the only crop not being destroyed.
Not being destroyed by the
potentially Biosyn is actually also the only other company that could create mutant locusts. No one's going to put those things together.
Which, like, I'm actually fine.
Nice.
I'm fine with that concept, but I need you to like push it one more into like it being like well, Biosyn is the government, or like they're lobbying super hard for clone rights or something so that they could do more of this kind of thing on there. They need to prize that a little bit more than just seemed like a good idea at the time, but now maybe not.
Yeah,
like I think they're trying to go for like a little bit of like a little bit of like a what was that? Don't Look Up or whatever kind of thing with like the tech billionaire who's not thinking through decisions. He's just thinking through what's the next profit line is. I get that as kind of like an idea, but that's not really brought across. And then the Dodgson character just doesn't really work all that well.
He's not like sinister. Like there's no like master plan there. Like he looks like he's just flying by the seat of his pants, and like he doesn't really know what the fuck he's doing. And it's like he should have.
Needed to be slicker. Like have something.
Yeah.
They made him feel like Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg just merged into one person and just made a real goofy billionaire genius.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's not a great villain at all. I agree.
But that being said, I really do like that actor because he's in House of Cards.
Yeah,
he's really good at House of Cards.
Spider-Man's
so I was excited to see him back. I was kind of just disappointed with what he was given as material because I can tell he's trying really hard with what he has.
Sure.
And I just don't think he's given much to work with.
And
sorry, go ahead, Nathaniel.
Last thing I guess I'll say, I was like super critical, and like I think this kind of like sums up my whole thoughts so far, is that like in original Jurassic Park, right? There's the scene where Laura Dern's character, Ellie Sattler, is going down into the complex to basically return on all of the different systems, right? And Hammond's over the walkie trying to talk her through it, and he's like, you got to go follow this and this and this or whatever. And Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum's character, takes the walkie and just goes, hey, look above you. There should be a bunch of pipes. Follow the bundle of pipes. That'll take you to the T-junction or whatever. And in this one, you have a similar scene in which Ellie Sattler is trying to turn on something, and instead you have the Jeff Goldblum character be like, oh, 3 down, 4 up, it's the same button, it's the big green, yellow one. And like they've just completely changed that character into something more akin to like, well, it's Jeff Goldblum, like, he's Goldbluming.
Kooky Jeff Goldblum.
Right, yeah. And it's just like, what are we doing here? And that's where it's like, to defend Fallen Kingdom a little bit, at least in that one, when they go and when it turns into an insane gothic horror movie, like that's doing something different and taking what was the initial concept in Jurassic Park of, hey, aren't dinosaurs really scary? And going, yeah, they really are, and they're more scary when they're inside your house. That's different and new, where this is just, this could have been something like that, but instead it's just the same thing again,
Yeah.
Instead, they put Jeff Goldblum with Indiana Jones and Steve Jobs, and they were like, dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, why did they turn Dr. Grant into Indiana Jones? I don't know. Interesting costume.
He always had the hat. The hat was always a thing.
But it looked worse. It looked more like Indiana Jones in this one than the previous one.
And
Maybe does he have it in the original Jurassic Park? Because I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in the third one, when Billy gets taken by the pteranodons, he like brings him back his hat, and he's like, "I got your hat." He's like, "Oh, thank you."
Okay, then I'll take that back. I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, I think some of my bigger pet peeves is Endoraptors are cool, but like that whole scene is just fucking dumb.
The Malta scene, basically.
Yeah,
if
like
you could
none
cut
of that
anything.
makes sense. Like there's like the two bigger dinosaurs that he lets out, and then they're like walking around like destroying everything, and like nobody really even cares about that.
That felt like we want to have a Star Wars cantina scene where like you get to have the like underbelly and like see how weird and wild the world has become, you know?
Baby dinosaurs in cages, and we can
like
use practical effects because they're baby dinosaurs. I mean, let's put a ton of detail into it. It'll be sick.
Yeah.
It was a cantina scene followed by a Mission Impossible action sequence.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah, with like the dinosaur doing the other podcast.
The motorcycle, the tight European streets.
Yeah, just that. What is that James Bond movie that they do almost
rooftop chase?
They exact same thing
dinosaur,
with dinosaurs. Yeah,
and that's what I was like laughing almost.
Yeah,
you can't outrun a raptor.
No, so like that's the thing that I'm watching, and I'm like, how the fuck is she leaping across buildings better than an animal? It just seemed insane. Like, you know what I mean? But to stop you guys on that, I'm so happy that now I get the reference of the cantina scene. So now I'm like, hey, I know exactly what you're talking about. So yeah, but yeah, that scene was really goofy too, because there's just
bizarre.
Like dinosaurs like all around, like uncaged, like killing things. Then like Chris Pratt's character, which I don't even remember his name, because I fucking hate this movie.
Jabba's palace.
What's going on? And he's just like fighting people, and like it's like not even like phased. Like by now they're dinosaurs like unleashed and shit. I'm like, this is like such plot armor. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think one of my other things too is to Nathaniel's point that he brought up earlier, and we talked about it yesterday, I think, or the day before, but either way. The dinosaurs do look worse, and I don't think it's all of them. For me, it seems like they concentrated on anything that more or less has feathers a lot more, because they were trying to put some over realistic features into that, which makes sense because feathers are probably a lot harder to do. But like Blue. She looks terrible in this, and it almost seems like they're trying to make look like raptors look faster than we already think they are. Like, I already know raptors are really fast. You don't have to try and like make them look faster than what I already perceive it as. So I don't overly care for how a majority of the dinosaurs look in this. The dinosaurs in the cave look terrible.
Yeah,
they just like that looks like a fucking that looks like a fucking ride that like I can have. It does, like and so yeah, and it doesn't bode well for me too much. And the scene where they're going down to essentially put Jurassic Park back online, they're like, ew, locusts, ew, like, what the fuck, they're already dead, just fucking walk over there. It takes them like 5 minutes to like tiptoe around these fucking locusts.
Even if I was tiptoeing, I could make it through faster than them.
Whereas like, in the original, you got like menacing fucking raptors lurking around in the dark, and you just don't know, and it's fucking terrifying. And it's just such a different vibe. And they obviously went a different direction with it. But the only other part that I really would have improved on is the very end, where all three of the alpha predators are in one ring.
Sure.
It feels like there should be one winner, where like these two essentially kill the Gigantosaurus Rex, and then it's just over. What I would have liked to have seen is when the T-Rex pushes it onto hot dog fingers, and then its like long ass head is like hanging over its body. I wish the T-Rex would have gone up and like grabbed its head and killed it as well, and then be like, I'm the fucking boss. Not just be like, hey man, high five, peace out, we killed that guy. I'll catch you on the flip side.
Teamwork.
Yeah. And to circle back on the apex predators they had in there, and I forgot what the large one's called. Did you say the gigantic
It's like
saurus? Whatever.
I don't remember what it's called. Yeah, we're just gonna
It was
call it
like
the
the
Gigantosaurus
Dilophosaurus
Rex.
Rex or something like that.
But nonetheless, it was so frustrating because like you see it on screen, and then like the character's like, "What is that?" And they're like, "That's XYZ dinosaur, the largest carnivore to ever be on planet Earth." Then fucking 30 minutes later, you see the dinosaur again, but it's with a new set of characters, and then the new character asks, "Oh my god, what is that?" And then it's like, "This is ABC dinosaur, the largest carnivore ever on planet Earth."
That's
and I'm
a
like,
good
"This
point.
is fucking stupid." And
That's
like,
a
I
great
don't know,
point.
man. I don't like this movie at all. It's just like too much information being provided. And it's like,
You're
I
so
don't know.
right.
Yeah.
You're so right. I was like, yeah, no, I remember. That was 20 minutes ago. I'm not stupid.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like everything
Yeah,
is like highlighted for the audience.
Right.
Like, oh, and this is this, and this is this, and like I don't like that. I don't appreciate that as a viewer.
Did you guys like when they made the logo? They did the logo. They did the Jurassic
did see
Oh, where
the
the
logo.
T-Rex
Yeah,
walks
yeah, it's
through
in a circle. It's in a circle, dude.
the wind. Yeah.
I don't care. I didn't need that.
No.
They held that shot for so long just to have him walk through a circle so you could get the same frame. I don't care.
There was a bit in the Malta thing too, where the woman Santos, who is she's a good actress, but she only seems to ever play like very terrifying, strange women who are always somewhere, like part of some secret organization or something. But she's the blonde girl with the laser raptors, and there's like a bit where like it's towards the end of the chase, and like something happens from the left side of the screen. And you, as the viewer, see the thing. You hear it first, and then it cuts to that object. I think it's one of the raptors jumping out from the side or something. And then it cuts back to her, and then there's like a beat, and then she reacts. And you're just like, what editor saw this? And was just like, yep, good to go. Like,
also, speaking of her and that whole sequence, did she used a taser that fucks up dinosaurs on a human being, and she was just blown back a little bit? And I just am confused why her heart didn't explode. Because how many volts were in that taser if it's putting down raptors, essentially? Like, holy
less than the
shit.
fence at the fence at the park, as they like called out or whatever at one point in the movie.
So it's less than
they're like,
10,000
you use
volts,
tasers, or no, it's the implants
chip in the
that
brain,
essentially put out sounds to make them come in, and like, isn't that like, like really like inhumane? And he's like, do you know how much volts were on the fences at Jurassic Park? And he just goes like, yeah, I do.
Yes.
And just all I do is picture Tim just fucking fly, dude, just fucking stiff arm, just off the fucking fence.
Big Tim, the human piece of toast.
Yeah, and real quick back on the lady, I think was it Sonia Santos? She's the bad guy, a villain, I should say. Excuse me. So there was a scene where like she like the pilots who dropped off like the baby blue, I forgot what it's called, Beta, I think, or something like that, and the little girl. And then she's like, hey, I have another job for you for like $70K or whatever it was. You need to take over some form of raptors, right, and fly them over there. And then you see like Chris Pratt and that team like above, and then like the FBI comes and like storms, right, and like, FBI, you're under arrest. And then it's just like a crazy sequence of like things happen out. And then like she just like the camera cuts to her, and then she just like walks off in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how does nobody stop any of this? It was so frustrating, man. Like, it looked like a movie from like the 80s, where it's like villain, something happens, like villain just takes like the exit stage left,
right.
You know what I mean, to like get them out of this scene. And I'm like, there's nowhere to go. They're in an alley. You know what I mean? It's like I couldn't believe it, man. This movie frustrated me. Like, this is one of the more frustrating viewings.
No, I get that. I really do.
In a while. So
I'm right there with you, Blake. I was kind of just watching this in awe.
Yeah.
Have we kicked it enough? Should we rank it?
We have, yeah. Let's rank it for whatever it's worth. I don't know. Welcome back, listeners, who skipped over the spoiler segment of the podcast. We're gonna go ahead and rank Jurassic World Dominoes up upon the entry list. For those of you who do not know, the entry list is Back Row Banter's official list of every movie we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list. If you, or this is essentially how we rate our movies out of 5, rather out of 5 stars, out of 10, whatever it is. Throw up all the movies we review on a list and see how they compare to one another. If you'd like to reference the entry list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description. Entry number 105 upon the entry list.
I got a spot, I think.
Oh, just let it rip. Let's get it over with. Short and sweet here.
So weirdly, this in watching it reminded me, and kind of like in tone as well too, as Fast 9. So that's immediately where my mind went, which is currently at 90. And then I went up and saw Venom, and I was like, would I rather watch Venom 2 or would I rather watch this again?
That's a good question for you.
Yeah, and I think my love of Jurassic Park will win out slowly on that one. Yeah. So I will put this at 88, above Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and below Wonder Woman 2017.
Okay. 88 for Nathaniel. Anyone else have their spot here? Or
87, because fuck Wonder Woman.
87.
Ty is definitely very anti-Wonder.
He's notorious on that one.
Okay. Wow.
And there's just no fucking way this gets anywhere north of Trick or Treat.
No.
Oh yeah. No. The first thing I saw was Godzilla King of Monsters. No way.
That's where I
saw.
I was like, nah, I'd try to watch that 10 out of 10 times. What I wouldn't watch instead of this is Zack Snyder's Justice League, and so I'm putting it at 94. Above Zack Snyder's Justice League and below Borat subsequent movie film, something I forgot was even on this list or existed, period. So
you're so close to the Tomorrow War. Like,
I know.
You just don't want to.
No, I enjoy the Tomorrow War way better. I'd rather see Chris Pratt shoot the fucking War. Trulies or White Claws or whatever the hell we were calling them. I'd rather watch him do that with Yvonne Strahovski. She's pretty hot, so
yeah.
You know.
And what's his name is in there too. Your man's from
J.K. Simmons. Yeah.
You
know what? That movie's way better than this one.
No, without a doubt. I'm not even big on the Tomorrow War, but yeah, that's Lightyear's.
This one's got Goldblum, and that does a lot for it. But J.K. Simmons is the man. So.
You're crazy.
Yeah. Well, 94. I'm locking it in. Blake, are you above or below me? That's what I really need to know.
I don't know, man. So I'm looking. First thing that caught me was Godzilla. Then I was like, okay. Then Fast 9, and then Justice League Snyder Cut, which is long as hell, but I would rather watch that.
No,
First, and we didn't even get the shit on. This movie's 2.5 hours fucking long, which was ridiculous.
4 hours.
Yeah, but I was like,
Blake,
this movie could have ended at like 2:06.
Okay.
Right, and that's like that drove me insane.
Yeah, no, the third act is just somehow an hour long.
I know, dude. I'm like, this movie could have ended three times already.
There's so many characters.
Yeah,
right.
Then
so
like,
many things going on.
Then what I really struggle with though is like the Wonder Woman 1984, where that movie was bad, but then I also, in my heart of hearts, this needs to be below High Tension. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I would rather watch High Tension every day of the week than watch this movie.
That's fair. Honestly, I see The Purge and I see Project. Well, I don't know about Project Power. The King of Staten Island is the one that does it for me.
Right. I would rather watch The King of Staten Island too than watch this. And honestly, Purge sucks though. So I'm gonna honestly put this at 101.
Okay.
Or no, it'd be 100. So it'd be below High Tension. Yeah.
No, that'd be 101. Am I?
101.
101.
Yeah, 101.
101. Okay. Interesting. All right, that gives us an average. Did I type something in wrong? It's giving me 69, but no one was that high.
No. I was 88.
Yeah, what did I type in wrong? Okay, 88.
87.
87. I was 94.
And Blake was
100.
Blake
was 101. What did I? 92.5. That's more like it.
It's the Tomorrow War. It's breaking it with the Tomorrow War.
Oh my God, Chris Pratt versus Chris Pratt.
I think Tomorrow War.
I didn't put that together.
Jurassic World is a 6.0.
The Tomorrow War is probably ranked higher.
The Tomorrow War is a 6.5.
Yeah,
hilarious.
Hilarious. The White Claws went out. They beat the dinosaurs.
That's
All right. Well, there you
painful.
have it. This is actually one of the lowest entries we've had to this part of the list in a while.
I think-
We've been sticking at the mid tier, and we just cracked the top tier last week, and we're now cracking the bottom tier.
I think if we
Been a
hadn't
weird couple of weeks.
if we hadn't watched Jurassic Park last week, I think this would have scored higher too.
Probably.
Maybe
not a
but
lot,
also, like,
They should have named this one
okay,
Fallen Kingdom.
okay, but that being said,
Yeah.
look at the ones above this. The Tomorrow War, I didn't hate. I know Nathaniel soured on that thing real
It's
quick.
dog shit.
But yeah, the Tomorrow War, it wasn't amazing, but it was decent enough. The Reminiscence wasn't amazing, decent enough. F9, I had fun with. Antlers wasn't as good as we wanted.
Yeah.
Venom, that's high. Wonder Woman.
I don't see how this thing gets above Wonder Woman.
So
regardless.
yeah, I think it's actually
Agreed.
a pretty good spot for it because right below it is Bro Rat and Zack Snyder's Justice League. So like, really, are we that mad? I'm not. Feels like a good spot for it. But anyway, regardless of whether it's a good spot or not, it is locked in at 93. We have ranked Jurassic World Dominion. That's it for the review segment here, folks. Next week's review is going to be Lightyear, the Buzz Lightning Pixar film
Buzz Lightning.
featuring, but did I say Buzz Lightning? Man, it's Lightyear. 12/16, ladies and gentlemen.
Sweet and Swift.
It's sweet, swift, and sour. Lightyear featuring one Chris Evans. And yeah, that's coming straight to theaters. I don't know if they're doing premiere access.
I don't think they are. It's kind of a big thing.
So, yeah, but I'm down to go see this in theaters. Seems like it'll be fun.
100%.
We're skipping over 5-star review, but if you want to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, you can go ahead and do that. And whatever you say, as long as it's 5 stars, it will be read out on pod. Vulgar words excluding. Share the podcast, share with a friend, family member, anything like that. We need your help to grow the podcast, and we can't do it without you sharing it with your
Anyone you
dinosaur
share
buddy.
DNA with.
There you go. Nathaniel, I want to tell you about this sprouting podcast called Back Row Banter.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a yin-yang twin.
Buzz
follow the
sprouting.
show. You could do so on Twitter at Banter Row, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod, and on YouTube. It's just Back Row Banter, and then our email for any questions, comments, concerns, grievances, anything of the sort is backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. BlakeHolder, please let me go to bed. Where can the people
Yes,
find you?
sir. We'll keep it quick. Letterboxd, I'll be on there logging some things. BlakeHolder is where you can find me, and that's all I got. Ty.
Twitch.tv/UltraBajo87, Letterboxd, Twitter, and Instagram are all Tyler Vidalis, VIDALES, Nathaniel.
Letterboxd and Twitter, NS Gingrich. Instagram, Nathaniel G92. Other podcasts, Sandpiper Tapes. Adam, get us out of here.
You can find me on Twitter at H24 and on Letterboxd at H. And that's pretty much it. Let's get out of here. Thank you all for listening to episode 106, Jurassic World Dominion. I really appreciate you listening, especially if you made it this far. It means a lot. Join us next week for our review of Lightyear.
Lightyear.
Did that one on purpose. Join us next week for a review of Lightyear, and we'll BRB.
Be excellent to each other, and we'll BRB.
Thanks for stopping by and helping us grow. We appreciate anything you can and do and are currently doing to help us do that. And we appreciate you very much. And just be good to one another and spread that love. And we will BRB.
Thanks for listening as always. We appreciate the love and support. We'll BRB.
I'm America. Ready for another lesson.
Am I coming through all right as far as like connection, or am I coming in and out?
No, connection's
No,
you're
fine.
good.
You just have an
Okay.
echo.
How bad is it?
Like you're in a room.
All right. Good point. I'm gonna lower the
That's
gain.
much better.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, I probably
Well,
won't, maybe not.
just get closer to the mic in general. That was where it was best, if you can. Sorry.
I will try. I don't want to. There, I'll scooch up a little bit. How's that?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
you're fine.
Okay. I'm sure it doesn't sound great. I probably won't use this room again next week if it's echoey like this. This is a different room than the one I was in last week. The different study room. It's a little
Smaller?
more. Yeah, it's definitely smaller. And it's more secluded, so I can I can lock this door. So like, I just felt like more comfortable in here. But if it's the two things is the echo, and as far as I can tell, there's no router extender here, which there is in the other room, and so I can connect my Ethernet to that, make sure the internet's good. So we'll see how this goes, but I'll probably end up going back to the other room next week. But I don't feel like moving all my shit at this point.
This shit's legit, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome.
It feels so big.
Right?
You'll get used to
just
it.
Just like in comparison to like
The 3DS.
my 3DS.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Like,
no.
You'll get used
I
to
was
it.
thinking about that.
Was
but
it a
was-
new Game Boy or something?
Switch.
it's the Switch. Yeah, just like a massive size difference.
I
Oh,
know,
did you
but
just? You never had a Switch, Ty?
Nah.
That's surprising. I feel like you'd be like one of the first people I think of would have a Switch.
Well, I wanted to get it for a while just because the Pokemon aspect, and then there wasn't like a whole lot of like hype behind it. So then I was like, well, then I really don't care. And finally, the Arceus game came out a while back, and I was like, yo, this is legit. And I heard a lot of good things. And then Carolia the other day was like, well, actually, I brought it up, but I was like, hey, I'm just kind of like letting you know the new Pokemon games that are coming out are, well, that's loud, are like 4-player co-op, and like I can go around with like my boys and like catch Pokemon and hang out. And so I'm like,
Arceus is co-op.
no, Scarlet and Violet.
I'm so in. I'm so in. I'm
Yeah.
so in.
Yeah, you can like just walk around with your boys and just catch Pokemon, and I would assume battle each other if you want, or you're like whatever. So I'm like, yo, this is fucking sick. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to get one.
We are, yeah, we are doing that for sure.
Yeah, and so then she was like, well, can I play like Mario games on that? And I was like, yeah, that's like the only way you can play Mario games. So
It's
she
the
was like,
ideal
okay,
way.
you can get one. So I was like, fuck yeah.
Girlfriend
Yeah.
approved.
I had a scary situation happen with my Switch before I left for DC, because I had planned on just bringing my Switch as my main thing I'm going to play, and I was going to get Pokemon, and that's all I was going to grind out for 2 months
Yeah.
straight. I was very excited, but I hadn't used my Switch like in over a year. Like, it had just sat on my entertainment console at school on the dock. Like, I had never
So
even
it had to do
turned it on.
updates.
Well, no, it was completely dead, and I was like, "Fuck." I hope this thing like still works, because it just sat on the charger for a year straight, basically, and but it was dead. So I think what it must have happened is like somehow it wasn't charging the whole time, which probably ended up saving the battery a little bit. But when I plugged it in initially to charge it back up, it like didn't do anything at first. Like, it took like 10 minutes for it to turn back on, and then it was like at 1% for like a very long time too. So I was like, fuck me, man, I really don't want to have to go buy a Switch right before I'm about to have this trip to DC. Like, I don't even think I could afford it.
But you
wanted
would've.
to buy another one. But it charged up. It charged
That's
up.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
back to 100. Battery life's not great, but it got me through my flight with like, I had like 30% battery left or whatever, and that's all I needed. I have a giant ass portable battery anyway that I use for my laptop and other shit that I keep in my backpack at all times. So
Yeah, at least it worked
fortunate.
out.
Yeah, I was just like,
I'm
I
actually-
really don't want to have to buy another one.
Yeah, I know. I've been contemplating buying a new console, probably PS5. I've been saying I'm gonna get the PS5 first. Like, I've been like really contemplating that now the past like month. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm just gonna trade in my PS4.
Mhm.
I have 2 Xbox Ones. I got a One X and a One S. I'm probably gonna trade in the One S and the PS4 at Best Buy, and I'll probably get credit for that. And low key, that'll probably be like $250, $300. You know what I mean? And then I can just get a PS5 for like $200. So I'm like 98% committed on that. So we'll see how it goes. But
Like, this little kickstand is dope. Like, I could just chill. This is fucking lit.
Oh,
You didn't know about that, bro?
You just take off. No, you just take off the Joy-Cons. You just like lay them in your lap, and you're just playing. with,
Yeah,
like,
dude, it's
you know,
awesome.
oh, it's the best, man. I can't believe you haven't had a Switch before. They're so much fun. It's a great console.
It's the
honestly.
weird
Like,
thing
it's
of
so
like you
fantastic.
realizing you actually have a console in like the palm of your hand.
In the
like,
palm of your
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah,
And it feels pretty like when I'm holding it, like if I'm playing it for hours, like it's not that comfortable. But like on my flight, I was like, you know what, this feels really good. Like it's a good size screen
Dude,
for like
Right.
right here for my face. Controls feel good, the Joy-Cons feel good. Like it's such a great console.
I
Man.
think-
I really can't wait for another one.
so many hours into Fire Emblem. I think I have
Oh
like,
yeah.
I have like 160 hours in that game.
I don't know how far I got into Animal Crossing, but I know that was one like so many people just like spent hours in because it came out right when quarantine started. Like
Yeah.
literally like the week quarantine started and everyone was playing Animal Crossing and
Was
I
that
eventually
and
hopped on it.
Doom.
Yeah, I played Doom and Quarantine too. Yeah, those two.
I'll
but
have to play
Animal
Breath of the
Crossing was, like,
Wild.
the perfect one. I haven't played it. I
Did you
haven't
say you
played a
played?
single Zelda.
Did I hear Doom?
Doom. I
Yeah,
tried-
the newest Doom was released on Switch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that the Doom from like was it like 2019 or something like that?
No, I think it was
They
the
had
new
Doom
one.
and there was like Doom in 2016 and then there was another one, Doom Eternal, that came
Yeah.
out in 2020.
That was the one that was
And-
released on
2020.
Switch.
And it came straight to Game Pass, I think. Either it came
Yeah.
straight to Game Pass or not too long later it came to Game Pass and ended up playing it.
Yeah, that's one I
Very
always
important.
saw, but I never got to it. But I loved Doom in 2016. Like I
Yeah.
remember I just played that
It's
like
pretty-
one
it's
summer in
really
college, like doing nothing at school. I was
Right.
like, I just fucking played Doom every day, bro. So I was like, I think I might commit to getting the new one.
Another one of those older brother games, like Mortal Kombat and everything.
Oh yeah, dude. And that was the first time I played Doom in a while. And I was
Right.
like, I fucking love this game. Like turn it on, grab guns and blow shit up. Like that's all you do, dude. No thinking.